Thank you. At this point, I'm going to make a closing statement before. Yeah, you will follow me, and then I will yield to you for a closing statement. You know, this is a very serious business, extremely serious business, apolitical serious business. And I believe that Dr. Ruiz, ranking member on this subcommittee, feels exactly the same way. You know, there's a difference between saying, I disagree with you and here's why, as opposed to labeling something a conspiracy theory or someone a conspiracy theorist. There's a huge difference. That's the politics that comes in. We need to get it out. No more. For this committee and as a general discussion across America, I hope that that can change. I'm first a physician. I'm also a soldier, Iraq War veteran. I've served on the Intelligence Committee here for the last 10 years. I've had a security clearance since 1998 as a soldier. This subcommittee is about an after-action review, lessons learned through this process, finding truths, and building a path forward so that we can have readiness in the future. That's what we need to do. My life has been about trying to improve other lives, to keep people healthy, and also about the security of the United States of America. I'd love for this thing to be from nature. I would love that, because that would be better for all of us. But I can't help but look at this and say, there's another possibility here. And when I think of that other possibility, it leads my mind, with my experience in life, to so many nefarious things that can happen to us as a people. This is a national security issue. This is a national health issue. Some things might start out as good. I don't think the Wright brothers ever intended for planes to be flown into buildings to kill thousands of people. That may be the case. We need to consider all those possibilities. The lessons learned. I can give you some lessons learned. You know, we're talking about trust and building trust. And I will tell you, going back to Secretary Azar, I made the suggestion, America needs to hear from doctors that are treating COVID patients. I think that would be the most helpful. That's who they know. That's who they trust. Those are the people in the trenches, not from politicians and not from someone who's never at bedside, who's just in the lab. The origins of this is important, because when we talk to doctors who are treating patients, for example, though this is where I think early on it was most important, because all they were concerned about, and all Americans were concerned about, is whether they were going to live or die. And will you come up with a cure or a vaccine? That's all they worried about. But as we try to move forward, the origins of this is important, so that we don't have to struggle in the same way that we did through all of this. And trust is important. Dr. Redfield, I agree with you on the declassification. Hopefully we will get there. It's important for transparency, for sunlight on all of this. Obviously, there's methods and other things we have to keep out. I get that. And you commented on another thing that I had written down before you said it, because to me it's important as a doctor to be honest about what we don't know. And when we don't know something and we hypothesize something and then we find out we're wrong, we have to say we didn't know and now we know better. That didn't happen. And I'll give you an example. You know, early on, people were saying, well, in the summer, it may dissipate like other coronaviruses have in the summer. That made sense, but it didn't happen. And we should have said, oh my gosh, that didn't happen. This thing isn't called novel for a reason. And we need to do a little more digging. I am open to various opinions, especially from experts in the arena, including doctors that are treating affected patients. That's where we have to go. This committee is going to deal with all aspects of the pandemic, but this is one that's very important and on the minds of every American. I want to thank you all for your testimonies today, for taking the time to be with us. We may have to see you again, we'll see. But at the same time, I do want to thank all of you for being here. And with that, I will turn it over to the ranking member for his final comments. Thank you.
I too want to thank all the witnesses for coming today and testifying before this committee. Let me be clear, my Democratic colleagues and I take seriously the charge of determining the coronavirus's origins. And that is why we must allow scientists and intelligence experts to do their research without politicizations or politicians politicizing the issue using extreme partisan rhetoric or making conclusions or accusations without concrete evidence. It seems like minds on the other side of the aisle are shut and made up on the origins, and they have chosen their villain. If we truly want to follow the evidence, the truth is that the evidence as we have it now is inconclusive. But villainizing our public health experts through conspiratorial accusations based on partisan suspicions and not concrete evidence does nothing to help us prevent and prepare for future pandemics. I too am a physician. I too have taken care of patients who have died due to dyspnea. In other words, they couldn't breathe, they didn't get the oxygen. And I have intubated and kept people alive and resuscitated people over and over in the emergency department. These are not political ideas for the individual who's diabetic and lives in a poor neighborhood that doesn't have access to testing or to healthcare access. This is not political. They don't give 2 cents of who knew what and by when. They want to make sure that they stay alive, that they can get the medicines, that they can live in a country that doesn't have to politicize every single damn thing. And they want to see their government work for them, for the people, to do the right thing. And I do agree that we need to evaluate the evidence as it comes, just like when we had the lack of evidence of this novel virus, and we made, as Dr. Redfield and Dr. Allwater said, some conservative decisions in order to protect until we knew more, until we were able to have the resources to put shots in arms, students responsibly back into schools, people responsibly back into work. But villainizing our public health experts undermines our efforts to do so. You see, it hurts the recruitment of public health servants in a time when we have a public health servant shortage. And it hurts trust. It hurts trust in basic public health measures like masks that reduces airborne transmission and vaccines that save lives. Congress has an important role in supporting the expert community's efforts to get to the bottom of the coronavirus's origins. We also have an important role to be forward-looking in developing the policy solutions necessary to mitigate the threat of new viruses, no matter where they came from. You know, I saw each of the witnesses nod in agreement in my discussion with Dr. Allwater regarding constructive policy solutions, like raising the international standards for pathogen research. There is still an opportunity for us to correct course. And this is a message on both sides of the aisle for this select subcommittee to be constructive body that focus on forward-looking solutions, ones that save lives, that matter to individuals who are at risk of dying today from this virus. So let's debate gain-of-function research. Let's discuss what we can do to improve safety guidelines and transparency in foreign labs. Let's discuss how to increase trust in basic public health measures to save lives and recruit more public health workers. Let's put people above politics. We owe it to the American people to take every action we can to save lives and I stand ready to work with the chairman to do so.
Thank you, Dr. Ruiz. In closing, I'd like to thank our panelists once again for their important and insightful testimony today. With that, and without objection, all members will have 5 legislative days within which to submit materials and to submit additional written questions for the witnesses, which will be forwarded to the witnesses for their response. If there is no further business, without objection, the Select Subcommittee stands adjourned. Thank you.